Big Movie Mouth Off on Xfinity, Utah On Demand, Channel 1. We're here at Broovy Cinema Pub to talk about Sundance movies. I'm Jeff Weiss from MSN Entertainment.
And I'm Jimmy Martin with SLUG Magazine. Well, it's kind of a special edition. We've done our Sundance Part 1.
Our due diligence.
That's right. But there was one film that
we didn't think we were going to get into.
I don't think most people thought they were going to get into this one,
No.
and it's Kevin Smith's Red State. And there was some hostility before Sundance started because Kevin Smith had canceled most of the screenings,
Including one in Salt Lake.
and the one in Salt Lake and the press screening, and knocked it down to 2 screenings. One was on Saturday night at the Eccles Theater, which
Sunday night.
was a Sunday. Oh yeah, Sunday night at the Eccles Theater, and the next one was at the Library Center Theater in Park City as well.
A few hours later, in the morning, Monday morning.
8:30 in the morning. No press badges or anything would not get you into this thing.
Nope.
You had to get tickets, and Vice and I actually came across the last 2 tickets
To the Monday morning.
to the Monday morning, and we said, come hell or high water, we will wake up.
Yep.
And we did.
Yes. We were good boys. We went to bed early.
That's right. We actually did go to bed early, like school children. But getting to the movie, so Red State is about a fundamentalist church that
Think Westboro Baptist Church.
exactly, and
But even more.
who showed up to protest the premiere screening.
Yes, but think even more bat sock crazy.
Yeah, with guns, I would say.
Yes.
So it's about a group of 3 kids who live in a small town, find a woman online who is willing to have sex with all 3 of them at the same time.
Yes.
They go to the neighboring town of Coopersdale. They go to her trailer. She says some inappropriate things. Oh, and the woman is played by Melissa Leo.
The great American character actress.
I didn't even know it was her until the credits, and I said, "My God, was that Melissa Leo?" Who's now nominated for an Oscar for The Fighter, and I wouldn't be surprised if she won. The three boys go there and end up being drugged and wake up in the heart of the community's compound.
Yep. Where we
Wow.
find out some really sinister things
Oh, God.
about the church, which is led by fire and brimstone Michael Parks.
Michael Parks, who gives a performance I have never seen in a Kevin Smith movie.
No.
And I'll say it right now, and it'll kind of get the tone, because I think we're in the same, I may be a little bit ahead of you. Kevin Smith should not have canceled any of these screenings, in my opinion.
Thank you.
This is a film that has shown how well he has progressed as a filmmaker.
Yes. He give him props. It took balls to make this movie,
It did.
And we talk about how it starts as a sex comedy. Think Losing It.
Yeah.
It's sort of like Losing It or American Pie.
Yeah.
Then turns into a torture porn thriller.
Yeah.
And then turns into a satire.
It does. It's amazing to see him take all these genres and make it work. I mean, and what's funny, Kevin Smith, we gave him crap for Cop Out, and
Yeah, this is a guy who I'm sure the script sucked and he was stuck with Tracy Morgan, but he couldn't direct action or comedy
Yeah.
in Cop Out. So for him to make the leap suddenly where he can make these different, disparate materials fit together
Yeah.
and make them work.
And there's a lot of action in this one too.
Yes.
I mean, we'll just say there's shooting, lots of it. But it's amazing to see. Smith has always been a better writer than a director, and he does. I mean, the writing in this for me is brilliant.
And it doesn't sound like a Kevin Smith film.
No, well, exactly. I mean, he's always doing the kind of stoner, druggy jokes, like that, and that's fine, and then that's his niche. But he takes his talents of writing and makes a character like Michael Parks' character, and is just terrifying. I mean, and I love it because Parks delivers it, yes, with anger, but then sometimes he's just talking.
Yes.
And you're like, man, he's soothing and like that, but then you're like, but the stuff he's saying is actually the worst things that a human being can say. and there are scenes in here that are so violent and gory that, I mean, churn. It makes your stomach churn. You're just like, oh god, like.
Yes.
And the fact that you.
It's got one of the most disturbing death scenes I've seen.
Oh, I mean, I almost like I never walk out of a film based on gory, but I was sitting there like, oh god, I don't want to watch this. You know, it's just it's so depressing and just disgusting that a human could do this to another human. You know what I mean? And not like, you know, Saw and like Hostile, like I'm gonna cut your leg off, like so over the top. Like this is like
it's more realistic.
It is, and that's what makes it more disturbing, and that's where it really makes you kind of think about what's going on with some of these religious fanatics. Like, could this be going on somewhere?
Right.
And that's where I give Smith credit for creating a world that seriously makes you think. And then what's great is that so the kids are kidnapped, and then word gets out. And then that's where John Goodman comes in.
Yes, as an ATF agent.
As an ATF agent that is given an order to go to the compound, who delivers lines that you can start feeling Smith becoming more present because they're more comedic, but it still works well in the world that he's created.
Yes, and delivered by an actor like John Goodman who can make them not seem as arch or wry as normal. And I bring up John Goodman, but Michael Parks, Melissa Leo, Stephen Root. It's not just one of the best casts that Kevin Smith's ever had. It's the best job he's ever done directing a cast.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. It still blows me away. I mean, he did a Q&A after, and he's going to sell.
Well, by Q&A you mean he gave a delivery.
Yeah, it was.
An address,
I think it was like
an address.
He had a page written down, and let me to my fellow students and congressmen, But he goes, I'm going to distribute this myself, and he said why, and I can understand, but it still for me doesn't explain why he canceled the screenings. I think part of me is it bitter from Cop Out, is it he wanted to build. I mean, he got so much attention for doing it. I mean, the 2 nights that this film screened, it was Kevin Smith's world, and we were just living in it, and so it could have been just a publicity move. And if he did that, then that's perfectly fine. But if he was anywhere nervous about the release of this film, I mean, you're gonna be nervous when you release something that's nothing like you've done before.
Right. Although I know it's got a lot of comparisons to his film Dogma, but this is Dogma on steroids.
Yeah, but
driving a nitro burning funny car over the cliff.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the only comparison I see is just the religious aspect,
right.
But no, Dogma did not have anything that was as this shocking, as horrifying,
as confrontational.
Yeah, it is in your face. It has images that will be burned into your brain.
Yes.
For a number of years.
I dare say this: even if you hate Kevin Smith, you need to see this film.
Yeah,
I really do, and that's my biggest disappointment in him saying he's going to self-distribute is that I'm afraid this won't get the sort of distribution it deserves because it's a fight starter.
Well,
it's a fight-starting film.
He's taking it on tour, but it does have a wide theatrical release in October.
Hopefully.
So it'll get there. It's got enough oomph behind it that will spark controversy, that will get people debating. I mean, you're going to have the gay community, screaming that things like this are going on.
Right.
And then you're going to have the religious people screaming that he is putting them in an awful light.
Yes, and you're going to have government officials saying, he's depicting us also in a very negative satirical
like a bunch of jerks, Yep. But, I mean, you talk about a movie that's going to cause debates. You talk about a movie that's going to create controversy. This is it. I think it is one of Kevin Smith's best films. It is showing how he's growing, and that's what I love about it, because it's only going to get better in my opinion, with him. And so
it's his most important film.
Oh God, yes. Most important. It's the start of a new generation with him and his filmmaking.
Yeah.
So, and there's rumors that he says he's doing this hockey movie that's going to be his last. I'll believe it when I see it, because if you're going to quit when you're getting this good, then that's disappointing. But
yes, if only somebody like Robert De Niro would do that.
Yeah, and what I love about Red State, the more and more I think about it, the more and more I love it. And Michael Parks I guarantee if he doesn't, he will be receiving some accolades for this one.
Oh, he should.
Because,
he should. Melissa Leo should too.
Yeah, but it's something that you should see. It's just one of those films that You're gonna remember it.
I'm glad we got the chance.
Oh, I remember being excited to have the chance, and now it's probably one of my favorites that I've seen at Sundance this year, and it'll, if it does come out in October, it'll probably be one of my favorite films of the year. So kudos to Kevin Smith, and
I apologize for my big mouth. You proved me wrong. Kevin.
Yeah,
you proved me wrong.
well,
and I'm a big enough man to admit it.
yeah, well, we were
Skeptical.
of going in just because of what he did and the cop out before, and I will still stand by my cop out review. I'm sorry, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But you know what? We all slip up now and again,
Yes.
and that's fine. And that's what a filmmaker does. And he will take a step back, realize his mistakes, and then come out with something like Red State, and say, hey, you know what? Chew on this for a minute, and I'll go savory.
And not only that, I'll go this far. Maybe being for hire and taking on cop out allowed him to make Red State.
I'm all for it.
Yes.
So.
And in which case, again, I apologize.
So if it's in your state, when it comes to your state, go see Red State. And if you don't get into your city until October, if it comes out, fingers crossed, go see it. So good job, Kevin. So slow clap.
Nooch.
Nooch.